Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary owns a lot of Ethereum and he's bullish on it, but he says it'll be second only to Bitcoin. But hey, that's fine. And James Wang, Ark Invest analyst, former Ark Invest analyst, says this thing could run up to $40,000. Let's dive into some of these latest data points on Ethereum and why I'm going full on into Ethereum. I've actually just invested a ton of money into Ethereum. So we'll look at the charts here first, and you can just see where this thing is going right now. Oh, this is a 4-hour chart. And look at Ethereum just exploding and continuing up to new highs, $2,700. That's well above where we were on the show earlier this morning. So you can absolutely see just the growth here in Ethereum. By the way, we do our show live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So you've got to watch our live show where we're making trades, we're talking about the market. But I want to talk about something that Kevin O'Leary just let out of the bag, which is that he owns a lot of Ethereum. And he's owned it for a while, and he's pretty bullish on it. And now he sees that it's separate from Bitcoin. It's only going to be second fiddle, though, for a while. So let's listen to Kevin O'Leary and why he's bullish on Ethereum, but we're going to parse some of his words here.
Bitcoin is the new digital gold. Ethereum, another product, is really the silver. It's always going to be number 2.
Or is it? When you have all of these other platforms now built on Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum is coming for you. We'll see. Let's listen to Kevin.
I just believe that to be the case. And now Bitcoin, hitting new highs almost every week, is proving that there are interests being brought out of all kinds of institutions now, trying to figure out, is it a currency? Is it an asset? Is it property? I have decided to put a 3% weighting into Bitcoin. And I was quite surprised when I announced that. I've owned it since 2017 and some Ethereum as well, in a wallet. Ethereum.
In a wallet. I own, for Kevin O'Leary to own some Ethereum. What we're talking about here when you dive into it is hundreds of thousands of dollars in Ethereum. Like, this isn't something he just put $10 into. This is a lot of money into Ethereum because he knows that this platform is powerful. Okay? He knows that this is real.
It's really interesting because it's always going to be number 2. It's going to be best of the Beatles, the drummer that never made it into the band for the big albums. Now, that's not a bad thing necessarily. What it means is it's going to be used as a form of tracking and payment system. Right now, it's too expensive for that. But there's also a big debate going on with this particular asset class as it moves away from mining into proof of stake, which will be far more ethical, far more green in terms of how much energy it takes to create it. Now, will it ever take Bitcoin? No. Bitcoin will always be the gold. Ethereum will always be the silver. There's something about being first that really keeps you ahead in a horse race like this.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. So a couple things to unpack there. First of all, let's talk about Pete Best of the Beatles, whom you reference. I'm a huge Beatles fan. If you watch our show, you know that. Pete, here's something interesting about this. So if Ethereum is Pete Best, who is the drummer that was replaced by Ringo Starr, was paid handsomely. Pete Best made millions of dollars on being the quote-unquote fifth Beatle. Now, what did Pete Best get paid for? He got paid for being a sort of shadow member of the Beatles that never actually took part in the band after Ringo joined, and he never toured with them. But Pete enjoyed something fantastic, which is that he didn't get shot in New York like John Lennon did. He didn't get stabbed like George Harrison did in his own home shortly before he died of cancer. No, he got to enjoy sort of a life of anonymity. No one even knows what he looks like. And he made millions of dollars. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Ethereum being the Pete Best of the crypto world. Are you? I am, especially when I can make money off of it. And when I can see numbers like this, even though it's not hitting Bitcoin numbers like this, that's fine. But when it runs to $40,000, which many analysts are starting to see the light on Ethereum and starting to understand that this is a decentralized platform that so many things are running on now and will be the linchpin for many transactions. And certainly as this evolves and Ethereum becomes even stronger, we're going to see even wider spread adoption of Ethereum. So that's fine that it's silver to Bitcoin's gold. Silver is doing just fine. And that's why I'm also a big investor in silver. So this idea that these two coins need to run in parallel is ridiculous. And we're starting to see that actually decoupling right now as Ethereum is charting its own path and Bitcoin is charting its own path. So James Wang, a former Ark analyst and a brilliant investor, and spent 9 years at NVIDIA, says that Bitcoin right now is going to continue on this path while Ethereum could rocket to $40,000. He says this volatility is totally normal. So if you're looking at Ethereum right now and you're thinking, oh, this volatility is too much, I don't know if I want to get into this coin right now, it's a little too crazy, I'm not sure. He says this is perfectly normal. If you get into this space, you absolutely need to be prepared to deal with these ups and downs. A 30% pullback is totally normal. Listen to James Wang.
It's nothing. In crypto land, this kind of price movement, 5-8% on a given day, that's nothing. That's like the cloud passing over New York. It happens all the time. It's like if you're worried about if this shakes you out, you should not be in crypto, because this will happen every couple of weeks or days sometimes. And when it really tanks, like we're talking 30-40% down in a single day. So if that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, stay in the S&P 500.
Stay in the stock market. Now, I don't want to call out David, my producer, but remember, of course, he invested in Bitcoin just a few weeks ago, and it was doing pretty well. Then it started to drop. It was dropping down in the high 40s. And so then David wrote it back up a little bit, almost to break even point, and then he jumped out of it. I was telling him not to, right? I warned him here live on the show, as you know. And then what happened? So he sold at about 44, and then over the past few days, it surged past where he bought it and went up higher, and is on an upward trajectory right now for Bitcoin up to 63,000. That's what the numbers are showing me today. Upwards of 63,000 on this upward trajectory. Okay, so look at Ethereum. We were just at 2,100. It's almost at 2,800. So we can play second fiddle to Bitcoin all day long. That's totally fine. So how are we going to get to 40,000? James Wang has this to say about getting to 40,000. Once you understand how Ethereum operates, once you understand the upside of all of these other platforms that are tied into Ethereum, you are going to see the real value. Let's get educated. Let's listen to James.
In 2017, we weren't sure what Ethereum was able to do. We only had this idea that this could be a new kind of computer for the internet, a new platform for the internet, but we had no idea. So all kinds of ICOs, initial coin offerings came out, and we had stuff from DentaCoin and weird things that didn't make any sense. Over the last 2 years or so, 2 use cases actually have emerged for Ethereum. One is this thing called decentralized finance, or what people call DeFi, basically using Ethereum to do things that banks used to do, borrowing, lending, and things like that. The other one is NFTs, non-fungible tokens, where essentially any artist now has a piece of magical software that allows them to mint unique and scarce digital assets. We could never create scarce digital assets prior to, practically speaking, Ethereum's kind of NFT technology. So now we have these 2 things. If you try to value Ethereum 3 years ago, you couldn't have come up with any of these, because you wouldn't have known ahead of time that they were going to be invented. So narrowly speaking, you could value Ethereum's opportunity in terms of the scale of the financial system if you just look at DeFi, and that's roughly speaking about $3 trillion a year. That's the amount the global banking and auditing system it generates per year, about $3 trillion. But yeah, like basically it's like if you just want to take a conservative view, take the global financial system and the banking system and the auditing system, $3 trillion in revenue a year. If Ethereum captures 0.1% of that revenue, it would be worth about $4,000 a token.
I hope you're paying attention to that part. Okay, even if it only captures a fraction of it, it would be worth $4,000 a token. A fraction.
Captures 1%, it would be worth $40,000 per Ethereum, per Ether, and that's a 20x from where we are today. So like that's very clear, and that's only one use case, right? And because it's a platform, it can, like 6 months from now, we could be talking about some entire new case we couldn't have imagined and estimated right now.
Wow. So even just capturing a fraction of the market, incredibly profitable. I mean, this is what Steve Jobs talked about with the Mac. Like, we're not going to beat Windows. We're not going to beat all the PC market with all of these OEMs building all of these crappy laptops that you can buy for a fraction of pennies, at Best Buy. No, we're going to focus on this. And if we can be profitable with this 1%, sky's the limit. And guess what they did? Absolutely. So there is the point. Is that even if all of these transactions even if just a fraction of them start moving in this direction, which they already are, That's why you're seeing the value exploding. That's why Kevin O'Leary is holding so much Ethereum right now. So what happens in the future? What if you are, you don't want to jump into this. You're thinking, Ethereum or crypto is not for me. That's where a savings account alternative like Outlet Finance, I've talked about them multiple times here on the show. They are backed by Ethereum. It allows you to put your money into this savings account alternative and then have that you receive about a 9 or 10% interest rate on that money that's in that account backed by Ethereum. That's why these platforms are so powerful. So you don't even have to invest directly in Ethereum. You can invest in, for instance, go to Outlet and if you go to morninginvest.com/outlet, there's the URL on your screen. You get 9% on every dollar. And by the way, if you open an account with Outlet, and they're not even sponsoring this video, this is my savings account, folks. This is the savings account alternative that I use. So, and there, it's backed by Ethereum. And so James is going to explain how this works. So actually opening an account, they will deposit money into the account for you just for opening the account, and you're getting a 9% return on your money sitting in this savings account. This is a pretty remarkable way to make money off of Ethereum without actually even having to invest in Ethereum. Listen.
I just put out a newsletter on kind of 5 actually useful things that blockchains can do in 2021. Like, these are things I think normal people would be interested in, not just like people in crypto. You ask someone in crypto what, like, oh, hey, can Ethereum do anything? They'll be like, yeah, you can mine for liquidity on automated market maker. And you're like, what? What does that mean, and why would I be interested? They think very funny. So I picked out things that like normal people would be interested in, and you can check out the newsletter. But I think of the things we talked about, lending is by far the most no-brainer activity you can do, because just the number of people who have a bank account is in the billions, and the number of people who would be interested in earning a above inflation rate return on just your savings is everyone on Earth. So you could argue that's a TAM of 7.5 billion people right there. And Ethereum will do that for you today, right? So if you have $1,000 and you want to earn some interest, if that's lingering in your bank account, that's earning less than 0.5% interest. You can shoot that $1,000 to Coinbase and convert it to a stable coin, so like USDC. These stable coins are not speculation instruments. They're pegged to the US dollar. So 1 for 1, you turn into $1,000 USDC, and then you deposit it into one of these crypto lending platforms. This is just software again, right? This could be Aave, this could be Compound, this could be Yearn, dozens of options for you. And roughly speaking, it will earn you like 10, 15% APY on that immediately.
So that's what I'm talking about. So you don't even have to be invested in Ethereum to reap the rewards of Ethereum and to see where this is going. So again, as I mentioned here, Outlet, that's the one that I use, Outlet Finance. So if you go to morninginvest.com/outlet, you can sign up for free. So you can literally open a savings account alternative and earn money on Ethereum at 9% interest. If you open a savings account with your bank, you're owning like 0.01%, just an awful savings account return on investment. So this is the power of Ethereum. James sees it going to 40,000. Kevin O'Leary owns Ethereum. I am bullish on Ethereum. What will you do? Let me know in the comments below. Are you investing in Ethereum, and what are your plans? I want to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please, and turn on that bell notification, because we go live, our show, every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here on Morning Invest, where we bring you the latest trades, what's going on in the markets, to keep you financially intelligent. We'll see you next time, everyone.